Jonathan Conricus is a former spokesman for the IDF and a senior fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy. He joins us now from Tel Aviv. So when it comes to honoring ceasefires, Hezbollah, Jonathan, doesn't have an exactly stellar record. Do you think this one's going to hold?
Good morning, sir. I think Hezbollah has a lot of reasons to hold their fire because they're not in a good tactical or strategic position. And every day that goes by and Israel isn't striking Hezbollah commanders or rocket launchers or their financial system or their secret production sites is a good day for Hezbollah. So they definitely have an interest in keeping it. What they also have an interest to do is to slowly creep back into southern Lebanon and start to rebuild their military infrastructure there with the aim of threatening Israeli civilians. And we've been in this story before. We know how it goes. They will look like civilians, dressed like civilians, and then we will find them on our border again. And one of the biggest issues with this probably positive development of a ceasefire is that probably the weakest point is how will it be implemented, knowing that the Lebanese armed forces are not up for the task, knowing that the UN forces in southern Lebanon are clearly not up for the task, and it will obviously, in the end, rely on Israeli capabilities to defend itself. Hopefully, Hezbollah won't challenge it early on.
Well, what you said there, taken in the overall, doesn't seem very promising. It sounds like Israel will have to use its right to respond if Hezbollah does decide to come south of the Litani River again and set up shop right across the border from some of those towns in northern Israel.
Yes, sir. Not only that, but, we have to look at this, zoom out 30,000 feet in the regional perspective. I see this as a temporary ceasefire that will allow Israel to regroup, catch its breath a bit, and then focus on what really needs to happen in the Middle East, and that is to address the main source of violence and instability, which is the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Sure.
Because we won't have quiet. There will be continued war and terror and attacks and suffering on all sides of all borders as long as the Iranian regime is capable of sending money and weapons and equipping terrorists and guiding them to attack Israel. And only when the Iranian regime will be held accountable for their aggression do I see a chance of a better and more prosperous future for Israelis and Lebanese and Gazans and other Palestinians. And I think it is up to Israel, hopefully not alone, to deal with that threat for the sake of our future, our children, and for the stability in the region.
I was going to ask, the 60-day window of the ceasefire with Hezbollah should take us into mid part of January when Donald Trump becomes president again. He's got a very good relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you expect Israel will find a partner in the United States in holding Iran accountable for its malign activities in the region?
Yeah, judging by the people, the nominees that President-elect Trump has nominated for key national security positions related to the Middle East and specifically Iran, I think that those are very good, indicating that the U.S. is going to really show leadership here and hold the Iranian regime accountable for its aggression. I personally don't think that, or I don't hope, or I don't assess that we will have American boots on the ground or American airmen fighting the Iranians. I think Israel will be happy to do that by itself. But what Israel will need as a strong and very loyal ally to the United States is continued diplomatic support, continued military support, spare parts and munitions, and then Israel will be very happy to take care of its security and continue to fight its enemies and the enemies of America.
All right, well, we will find out soon what will be on the table for the new Trump administration. Jonathan Conricus, good to catch up with you again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Dana.
Well, President-elect Trump is putting China on notice, but